Hello there everyone and welcome back. Alas, I was not able to utilize my Crew Warsphere last episode mainly because we fought against nothing but Space Marines, and if there was one matchup I was not really comfortable using this Warsphere on, it was against Space Marines, because apparently this trait for being a Warsphere means it can only deal with hull breaches, which means this thing could possibly be the fastest thing for Space Marines to kill. At least that's a capital ship. If it was a frigate or something, hell, Thunderhawks would make an amazing boarding option for killing them off, but for a Crew Warsphere, I don't think it would serve its role very well if it got incredibly vulnerable as a result. So, it did not pan out the way I would like, but hey, yeah, I am still excited for the prospect. Hell, I was even tempted a little bit to maybe swap out this Bastion in the Warsphere, so at least that way I have a third upgrade option for the Warsphere. For maybe the belt armor is not as prevalent for the Bastion, considering it's supposed to be doing its cutting beam as soon as the micro warp jumps in, so you would think I could get away with that, right? Although past experience has taught me otherwise, so I think we're going to keep it as is, and hopefully we can get some Imperial Navy, maybe some Tau, to experiment with this Crew Warsphere finally, see if there's some merit to this ship. Well, 300 points and we're up against Eldar, so this changes the dynamic quite a bit. Because the Crew Warsphere has the range to kind of serve as a good deterrent for 300 points, and arguably, I think going for Warsphere actually makes it easier on my opponent too if he knows how to deal with it, but at the same time it could terrify him with the amount of health and just not even knowing what the hell this thing is if it is a brand new player. So I'm really tempted to take the Crew Warsphere just because of that. I don't know if it's a good idea, mind you, but considering it's all macro weaponry, and it even tracks the ships there to a vague extent, it should be an ideal option. But do I go with a protector or not? I would love some fighters to help deal with the potential of heavy bombers, but at the same time, I like to get my levels in, some experience, and this gives me an opportunity for a Castellan and Messenger to help with the same kind of problem a little bit. This is a really weird composition though, I am not gonna lie. Not gonna lie at all, but this Crew Warsphere could potentially do a lot of damage. Is there a way I can rotate so it's immediately going sideways though? That's one thing I haven't really experimented with when I started testing this Crew Warsphere in single player skirmishes. Nonetheless, this could go badly for me just because of the inconvenience of the bombers. I will need to make good use of a Messenger, and of course, if they're going after my Messenger or Sauce, I would have to run the hell away, but as far as protecting these beacons, oh yeah, I forgot, it's 2 ships. And I'm really hoping this works as I'm thinking, that the Crew Warsphere will actually go left. It's going to be really weird though, but hey, this should make it interesting if nothing else. So Castellan and the Sauce are going to be together. The Crew Warsphere, well, really, there's not really much point to hot control. Put this in a control group because I literally can't move it. I can use my boosters, mind you, which one thing I noticed is if I ever hit T, I think it is for like my reload. It may be T, it could be another hotkey, but it tries to activate my combustion gauge on the Warsphere for some weird reason. So I'm not exactly sure why that is exactly, because you would think the Crew Warsphere boost would be the same as any other boost, but nonetheless, we're going to try this here. If anything, I should have the Sauces more to the left. I'm probably going to get murdered horribly just because of the huge point bonuses he's going to get. But if that Crew Warsphere, well actually, who am I kidding? I can just course change it immediately, and it has the range that's better than the Eldar, since he is relying on 6,000 unit range for pulsars and star cannons. So, this is going to be weird, because I'm going to immediately boost the other way, I think, while the Sauces go over this way. And once the booster dies, then it's going to be back in the gas cloud, so it should be okay in theory. Oh, don't tell me he's going to disengage. I hope not anyway, because he's just standing there right now. Well, this might be a big disappointment, isn't it? Because he already said good game, so I'm assuming he's already conceded defeat. Nope, he's moved. There's life. There's life on in this player. Now, gotta keep in mind, those are frigates, so... And with 400 points, those could easily be the cruisers there. So we'll deal with the big threat first. And if anything, I should have this Messenger also try and deal with these missiles some. Because yeah, he's got 3 Nightshades or 3 Hellborn. I'm assuming they're Hellborn. But let's see if we can do anything about it. They are nightshades though, so, and with these rocket missiles, they should track his frigates relatively well even with a Wraithbone shift. It's just a question, can it do the damage it needs to with how small these things are and hard to hit? And keep in mind, the frigates are still going to be annoying. So boost, intercept, and ideally, just board these damn things, because the Crude Warsphere of all things has like a 360-degree boarding option. There, and the repulsor will also help mess up with his torpedoes quite a bit too, because he is trying to dive bomb and kamikaze a little bit here. Now, can we kill this thing? Because the Crude Warsphere is not going to be contributing for a while. It does have a micro warp jump though. So that may not have been as exciting as I like, but we have an Aurora, we have a Sauce. Yeah, unfortunately this player is a bit newer. I think it's apparent now, which is a little bit of a letdown. I would love to see more out of this Crude Warsphere. But he did get the one beacon. Oh, and he has a level 1 cruiser too, so I hate to destroy his prize cruiser, but the secret missiles are wrecking him regardless, because they ignore the hollow field. I'm feeling a little bit bad here, but I don't know what to say. This one has torpedoes, this shower, right? No, it has bombers, so yeah, it is actually a brand new player. And it's not possible, yeah, unless I warp out my ships, which isn't even an option right now due to the cooldown. He's probably going to be losing his entire fleet. I'll see if he warps out. I'll give him a few moments to consider. And a couple of secret missiles also seal the deal, because I'm not seeing any bombers. He did launch them onto the beacon, mind you, so I know he is aware of them. I'm just surprised he didn't fire the fighters to protect his ship. So those bombers are gone. He is trying to fly away there. He still has to destroy his one beacon, I'm afraid. It's not going to happen. So, I shouldn't, yeah, I'm worried about a micro warp jump when I'm boosting, because I'm fearing we may have a situation where if you boost micro warp jump while you're doing all ahead full of your boosting, then it just breaks their boosters for the rest of the game. So, maybe I should have micro warp jump food first before boosting, because this is not going to go well. Okay. Not as exciting as I would like, but if nothing else, we do see the Crude Warsphere in action. Still a question if Eldar was probably the best choice for it, though. The only justification I had for taking the Warsphere is he didn't really have anything reliable to shoot outside 6,000 units, so he had to get relatively close, and my Crude Warsphere could have kept hammering him, even if he knew how to micromanage, and by that I mean use the Wraithbone shift and falls maneuver to dodge my macro cans. The Crude Warspear's missiles actually has a tracking element to it. I have no idea if it enhances his accuracy any or not, mind you, because it says the exact same as the accuracy for all the other Tau ships, so either way, it still follows his ship, so ideally, if he's well within range and doesn't get outside my 9,000 unit max range, then I should still potentially hit him as for a normal shot, and hey, I get my first level 10 Sauce as a result, so that's a win in my books. I will happily take that, and I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do for these level 10 upgrades. And while I still question the potential of this upgrade, I really want to utilize the Stealth Alloy, considering the fact that these Sauces are supposed to be longer range fighting, but before I ultimately commit to Stealth Alloy, I want to make sure multiple Sauces have their level 10 upgrades available. Because what's even more drastic, I'm thinking of cutting out the belt armor. I'm not positive on this just yet, and maybe enhancing the railguns even further. Sure, 12,000 unit range with a lock-on is going to be amazing, but if I want to really keep these things safe from harm, like the playstyle I'm trying to use them as, then belt armor is probably hindering me some, because I want the extreme range to make it almost impossible for them to get shot at. It's going to be a different story if I fight like Chaos and all that, mind you, which don't care about how far away I am. So, I do still question that some, but I think let's just go with the enhanced railguns for now. And then once my other Sauces start getting level 10, I'll seriously consider either the belt armor, swapping that out for a Stealth Alloy, or just switching out the railgun range for the Stealth Alloy. Because at least that opens up a little bit of ambush potential. I just really need to have an opponent use that stealth alloy against me, so at least I know how it can be abused against me. Because right now I'm kind of going in blind. If I were to use the stealth alloy, which is kind of interesting, considering I'm supposed to be the one ambushing people. But nonetheless, not quite the battle I would like for the Kroot Warsphere, but maybe we'll get a better chance with this. Well, we're fighting the modern everyday man, and that modern everyday man is apparently a space marine, so I'm still tempted to field the Warsphere. It sounds like a terrible idea still. The only thing I got going for me is maybe the fact, since it's 500 points, he isn't quite optimized to punish my Warsphere as much as I want, but it is a good opportunity, if nothing else, to get a feel for it. And I never did mention, I spent the 3 crew points on the Warsphere to actually enhance its disengage, its warp jump. So ideally, if this thing is in a really big predicament, it should be able to warp out really damn quickly, I'm hoping. But at the same damn time, I need to take the Space Marine armor super seriously. I dislike having, well, this is going to be a weird one setup. 2 protectors and a Kroot Warsphere. This feels odd. I do have the messenger. I think we go with Castellan because I do have 4 squadrons of fighters to help deal with boring torpedoes, to help deal with the Thunderhawks. This does feel weird for me. I would love to throw in a saute of some kind, but technically, the Warsphere is taking that slot up. It's also my Admiral ship apparently too, which takes up all the space, needless to say. We're not even seeing any of the other fleet as a result of this. So, the idea, of course, is to take it slow and steady because I'm kind of forced to wait for this thing if I want to do a full-on aggression. But, as far as placing it properly, since I don't have emission dissipators, we need to be smart with how I plant it or where I place it. Because I do need to be mindful where he might go. I feel like, if I were me, I would probably go over on the right here. That way I have access to this gas cloud for a fallback point. And if I want to be aggressive or a very offensive base, I can at least push the middle and secure this gas cloud. Probably something he could do with Space Marines. It depends on how well he's able to avoid my Manta Bombers. It is really what it comes down to, because those Manta Bombers alone might kill him. Because the burst damage, the 90 damage on these things is no joke, and it's really my main form of damage in this type of matchup. So I do want to try and get away with more reload orders when I can, because that's actually going to be pretty useful in this matchup, I feel. The more... oh boy, Frigate Swarm too. So, I don't know how I feel about this, but maybe he's had a bad run there. But I have bombers for that. My bombers are going to be amazing for dealing with a Frigate Swarm, and I even have the mobility. Well, he is still slightly faster than me, but it's great for stalling and delaying. And this Kroot Warsphere is going to be great. Still, possibly not going to be the ideal situation to truly practice with the Warsphere, aside for just showing it off. We have a strike cruiser there, we know that exists, and it's the torpedo variant. And what's awful is those torpedoes are probably going to hit my Warsphere if I'm not careful, so I think I need to take measures to make sure my fighters shoot down these things. In the off chance he actually sees the Warsphere shooting behind me. I don't know if it's a newer player, he may not even be aware of the fact Stealth Alloy's a thing, but just to cover all my bases ideally. Yeah, 1 or 2 torpedoes could hit that Warsphere, so fighters need to do their thing. And also I have this gas cloud here. I was kind of right about his placement at the same time too, but again, I can only go off my own personal experience really. So shoot that 1 more torpedo. No, we're fine. We are fine. Now, let's see. I would like to launch bombers there, but oh, he's getting super aggressive, so can we fire? Oh, he's got a level 1 Vanguard, so I feel bad for that to a fake extent. Sadly, those secret missiles are a huge whiff. At least the first one was. Second one did decent amount of damage. Don't worry, Kroot, I'll have you help out in a moment, but you're going to be in a little bit of an odd predicament. And the Manta Bombers just nearly took out a frigate, but of course that's 100... It's 2 Manta Bombers alone are not enough to kill a dang frigate on its own. I need to do some extra damage. And I do have fighters for these boring torpedoes. Hell, they're going after my Castellans, so let's try and finish these things off quickly. And also, let's move the Kroot Warsphere now it's revealed. Kind of change its heading some. kill the frigates. Ideally, I don't know. Can I actually tell this thing to attack certain targets? I don't think I can, since I can't actually move it, which is a little bit of an annoyance, but I don't think there's much I could do about that. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of killing his frigates first before I worry about his cruisers. I gotta be careful of the torpedoes still, so those are a real threat if he gets a good torpedo salvo off. But I don't think I'm responsible for what happens with my Warsphere. If it decides to kill his strike cruiser and vanguard, then I had little to do with that, and I plead innocence. Although it's also flying right in front of me too, so. Oh, Castellan, you could turn and disengage. That'll be good. That was a good dodge there. Finish off these frigates, especially this one frigate here, ideally. Because I have repair drones repairing. He's just completely fading. I guess he realizes that he's lost, if I had to assume. Oh my. If nothing else though, this gives me lots of matches to continue build up experience and play with this Warsphere more. If nothing else. It's just not a good display of the Kroot Warsphere. I don't know how to take that in all seriousness. I really do need to look at the recording to get a sense on how his weaponry performed, but as far as his placement, his positioning, use of abilities, we didn't really get any of that, in all honesty. We didn't get any of that at all, and I'm trying to think of something to talk about to kind of buy time while we're waiting for the end screen to appear. But really, nothing really I can say. I wasn't even paying attention to the Kroot Warsphere, so I don't even know how many of its missiles were even shooting at the targets. Or hitting the target, rather, let alone if it was even shooting at the frigate I wanted to shoot at that one point. I know very little about how controlling it works, if it's even possible. Or even how the AI even works. Does it automatically shoot at what's closest? Well, actually, come to think of it, I need to remember to reprioritize my targets, because it's been forever since I actually been doing that, if I were to be honest. Because I've been using the assist focus as a means to kind of override that, because I find setting priority to 1, 2, or 3 hasn't always been effective, and I found out about that when I was playing Tau the first time, to be honest. Now with that said, I think, marker drones or the Earth cache. I want to get both of them, I'm not gonna lie, but at the end of the day, when I'm comfortable with the level of this Warsphere, I can easily get both, so it doesn't really matter, I suppose. Since I'm planning on cutting out the air cache at some point, I just want it there so that way I can hopefully get reliable and consistent experience on this thing. Because I don't want to micro warp jump that often if it's going to be staying at range. The micro warp jump ideally is to help keep it alive rather than jump into the fray, especially if I can extend its range even further with the acquisition systems. Of course, that's going to require additional upgrades like the enhanced order duration to get full value out of that. But somehow we're winning, but I guess they're also lower level players, so I can't brag that much. Let's just hope it improves. Alright, we have ourselves a rematch here, and I think I'm going to do something bold. I think I'm going to regret it ultimately, but let's bring in our sauces. We're not going to rely on the screen that is the fighter wave, and of course the bombers to pierce his armor. We're going to have to try and win this through brute force somehow. And sadly, I do not have enough points for Castellan, but I'll have to do with 2 messengers, I guess. Hell, I could afford a Castellan if I wanted to throw in my 4th sauce, but I still want to play around with this Warsphere, and it's quite frankly going to be my meat shield for this exchange, so I kind of need it. And, well, I don't think I want to bring my level 10 in. Be a little more generous and let's spice things up a bit. If I'm going to be getting lower level fleets for this video, for these series of matches, then we're going to try and make it exciting somehow. At least, if nothing else, this will make a great opportunity to rapidly build up experience on this damn thing, because I was saying earlier how I kind of was thinking of just swapping the Demiurge or the Bastion in the Kroot Warsphere, so that way this Warsphere would get its level 6 upgrade already, but it's rapidly not becoming an issue if this keeps up. Now, I think I'm going to be fighting a lot around this gas cloud, so where do I expect them to deploy? Because I kind of want my Warsphere to be on the opposite side of this cloud. Ideally away from him if possible. I just don't know where he's going to deploy. Probably this gas cloud. I'm going to make a wild assumption. There's not really much reason for him to deploy either direction because he doesn't really have the terrain to justify it. But I think I'm gonna have a messenger with the Crew Warsphere. I almost called it Demiurge there, and we'll see how this goes. Actually, let me just group this up properly. You're group 2, you're group 3. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt if he's gonna try a serious game. Right now I see nothing deploying. Fingers crossed we get a real game though, even if it's one where I have to handicap myself. But without a doubt I'm gonna need Monka, because we're gonna be getting close and aggressive even with my extra speed, because if I run away from him all the time he's gonna be basically getting free shots on me. Maybe not very effective if they're bombardment cannons or torpedoes, mind you, but if he has lances like that one Vanguard I think had, then I'm really screwed if I try and kite and run and just harass him at range. Especially if he gets in close with the Vanguard. But Strike Cruiser, we should be okay so long as I'm mindful about the bombardment cannons. Okay, 8 ships again, but this time we're a little more even on equal terms. He may not realize it just yet, because I don't have the convenience of ignoring his torpedoes the best. But let's see if we can somehow win this still. Only thing I ask of him is not to commit suicide with his frigates, ideally. That is pretty much all I want, unless he got completely freaked out by the Crew Warsphere. That's a possibility too. And yeah, right now none of his ships are moving, so it might be one of those matches.
How may I serve the Tauva?
And actually I should move my messenger. It's becoming too obvious I have it next to a Warsphere, don't I? Probably a little too obvious.
How may I serve the Tauva?
Especially since it doesn't have stealth ally, I'm realizing, so this messenger's purpose is more of a hindrance rather than help. Aw, please move. I would like to give you a real battle here, although when he sees my level 8s and level 9s, he's still probably not going to feel like it's a fair fight of any form. Especially if these are all frigates, I can easily shoot them down with just sheer overwhelming railgun fire. Because technically, these Sauces have much more better railguns than even my protectors do. It's really the prow railguns that are fixed to the front of the protectors that allows them to at least match the railguns at all, or even get close to it. But otherwise, in theory, these Sauces should be better at shooting down his frigates, outside like the burst damage of the bombers, so we'll see how this goes. And we see a Vanguard coming up. I want my messenger ready. Try and shoot down these torpedoes some, and unfortunately, that might hit the Warsphere as well, so let's not get too carried away. And I do have 3 beacons to kind of encourage a long-range engagement. Soften them up nicely. I should have had the Sauces kind of intercept the torpedoes best they can, though, mind you. But let's shoot these things down. We have lock on. He is boosting, so let's try and kill these things off, because once the frigates die and I take very little damage, he might be willing to consider getting the hell out. We can hope. The messenger is not in a good spot, though. Crew Warsphere is going to take some time to get here, but he did burn a lot of his boosters, so I should be able to get distance from him. Messenger might be a bit of a liability. I just can't focus fire the best because of this running strategy. I need to time my attempt to turn around really well. Oh, he still got, even with me flying directly away, he still managed to get boring attacks on me, so that kind of stinks. Okay, Crew Warspear's getting his hits in. Let's lock on. Now, we have no repair drones, so we need to be very careful of this. And I destroy a weapon there. What did I destroy? Okay, one of the broadside weaponry, so that's not a big deal just yet. And let's try and get the hell out of here. Let's not get rammed to death, because that's kind of one thing he has going for him with me facing away like this. And I also need to turn around for like the railguns. He's jamming me as well. That's not a huge issue just yet, because most of his ships aren't even getting hit in just yet. So boosters are all gone. This can go badly here. Yeah, and Thunderhawks are boring me like crazy too, so this Sauce might die in a moment. It's about to warp out too, so I think I want to preserve experience, but these bombardment cannons aren't going to let me. If I could just stall the best I can, then this could be good for me still, because the Warsphere is still going to do its damage. He is using bombardment cannons though at the same time, which is going to be pretty brutal. Can I at least kill these frigates? These things are going to be a pain in the ass, but I can also do damage to them. And it sucks not being able to focus fire at the same time, but I do have brace for impact. If he's going to ram me, that helps. And I have an idea here for what I could do as far as pushing these off course. That may not be as helpful as I thought, but it maybe helps. I'm not entirely certain if it does in any way or not. Just keep going. Just have the Warsphere take the damage, ideally. Because that's kind of its job. And since you're out in the open there, you can freely fire some seeker missiles as well. We can dodge these relatively well. I just need the messenger to help join in this exchange. And watch my boosters, because I am going to run out of boosters in a moment here. Just ram me, but I do have brace for impact, so it's not terrible just yet. My armor is about the same as his. I just don't want these things to die. Actually, yeah, that's about to die, but this is looking good for me regardless. I just need the Crew Warsphere to cooperate and hit the targets I want. No, you're not insubordinate, alas. Now, we're going to try and evade. Just lock on, continue hitting these things, because the Crew Warsphere is still going to win the game for me, I'm not going to lie, since he's been neglecting it so much. And I just burnt my repairs too at an inconvenient time, so this thing's just going to burn to death. If only slightly. But I do have protection. And I'm wondering why... Oh, it tried to warp out and canceled the insubordination, that's why. So, destroy the weaponry. Do what I can, and I'm okay with ramming the frigate. I guess these sausages are not going to get to live, mind you, but let him try and go after this. Because what is he going to do about the Crew Warsphere, in all honesty? Well, what is my sausage going to do? That's a shame. He is trying to ram this thing. Can the Warsphere hit this thing in time? It rammed it, but it wasn't enough, sadly. Oh, I had my projector too. That was a mistake. Oh, he admits defeat now, you jerk. I should just try and murder him just for that alone. Well. It was going to be a win no matter what, I suppose, because of how much he ignored the Crew Warsphere, but again, with all his critical hits being like hull breaches, basically, he can still kill that thing amazingly fast, and it was also firing the entire time. It was just completely erratic type of fire that it could not control, I think. But to be fair, I didn't really try to tell it what to attack either, and I didn't even do my priorities either. That's a bit of a shame. Because when you target an enemy ship, you're able to choose the priority, and ideally, hopefully, the AI is supposed to shoot at it over anything else, provided the weaponry can even reach it or shoot at it. So, I really need to remember that habit again, I suppose, if I'm going to make that work. It is a victory though, but I still would have loved my experience on the sausages with that all said. Oh well. It was a little more entertaining, I suppose. The Crew Warsphere is at least taking part in these battles. And arguably, the Crew won me that game, because he was too afraid to fight the damn thing. So in the end, the real MVP is the Crew Warsphere, isn't it? I don't know what else it did throughout that entire battle, mind you, but it's still MVP just for winning that match, I think. So, it was a silly time, not really a serious match, but still fun nonetheless. Well, looks like it's going to be a third rematch, but this is an opportunity to try and refine this play some. Try not to make it as big of a horrible loss, as at least for my sausages, as was last time. Because what I think I'm going to try and do I? I think I still need a messenger just to help deal with those, well, I think what I have in mind is going to be different, to the point that the messenger is not going to be as useful anyway, so here's what I have in mind. We're going to split up the fleet now. rather than have a nice little death ball of 3 Sauces, we're going to try and spread out and overwhelm them by attacking from multiple angles, multiple fronts ideally. So at least that way, I'm not in an awkward predicament where all my Sauces have to run away. And at least ideally 2 of my Sauces could still contribute while locking on while still at max range, ideally. I think that's going to be my plan, and I want the Warsphere to try and get more aggressive and at least be more in the thick of the fighting this time. Well, I don't know what that actually means, mind you, because it's going to be tricky to do that unless I burn a micro warp jump, and I kind of would like to warp this thing out for more experience at the same time, so this will be tricky to do, and I think it feel like he's going to deploy over on the right, so this is a bit of a risky gambit to have my crew Warsphere way over there, especially with a damn asteroid belt, mind you. But I can rotate it some. It will help divert it towards the gas cloud if nothing else. So how do I divide my squad there? I think we'll go with 2 Sauces here. We'll have them in a nice wide spread for now. I'm going to have to control them individually, mind you, for this to be as effective as I want. But we're going to try and keep them spread out a good amount. Actually, we'll just go straight through for now. Keep them with a wider arc so that way maybe I can still commit with the other Sauce attacking the Castellan. I don't know what I want with the Castellan. Just contribute to the firepower because it technically does have the same range as the Sauces will with the lock on. So, alright, he deployed exactly where I expected him to, so that's good for my crew Warsphere. I gotta try and move these ships into a good firing arc now. We're gonna try and refine this play, even though ultimately this is all silly kind of throwaway type of matches. Or at least not a serious type of matches anyway. I still want to try and win, but I want to try and improve on that last match if nothing else, so this will be a good opportunity to see that in action. Although, I do need to be mindful of... So he's bringing out all the big guns now. Everything's torpedoes, that's fine by me. Those torpedoes are going to hurt for my Warsphere though, so we need to be careful, because the wave projector does not work against that in the slightest. But with me dodging torpedoes, that'll be pretty good. Let's just try not to give him free shots on the Warsphere, if I can so help it. Now, you're just going to hold your position until everything else is in an advantageous position, because I want to kind of concave if at all possible. And he is shooting at the Sauce, so those are fine. Just keep shooting at them. I'm just really worried that if the Warsphere is going to get hit or not, because unless I have emission dissipators to kind of redirect its course, it's probably vulnerable to getting shot at. What is even its point defense count anyway? It has 15, so it's slightly lower. Well, it's the same amount as a battle cruiser, mind you, but let's see. And he just saw it run. Or no, he's in the gas cloud. Not a big deal. I could deal with that. And those torpedoes are conveniently gonna dodge. The Warspear's conveniently gonna dodge them. It still took a hit, mind you, so that still sucks. Because the shot torpedo didn't need to shoot at. But with beacons, I'm fine. I just gotta reveal and force an overreaction out of them. That's kind of what I want to do, and I have the range for it with the beacons. And he's giving away his facing his position too a little bit. I just gotta be mindful of this gas cloud trying to hide his ships again. So, get everything going. Group 2, get closer, I suppose. Group 1, you get ready. I ideally want the beacon to make sure it covers this gas cloud there some. It's only revealing one single ship, mind you, but I'm willing to take a single torpedo hit, ideally. Oh, you had to get a hull breach out of that too, you lucky bugger. Alright. Come on. You know you want to come after this. Now just boost on away. Take the hits. Now focus on the weaponry, because he's got boring torpedoes on all these things too. Now, just boost on away, hopefully. Yeah, the lack of fighters are really hurting me here some. Now, I would like to brace for impact. I think it's probably a good idea. Now, get boosting, destroy these frigates ideally, and also destroy a strike cruiser if possible. So get to repairing, get to destroying components. Oh, and I thought you had auto-cast boarding on, so that's a shame. That's not true. So, I want to boost these things forward as much as possible, and also let's prioritize our targets the best we can.
How may I serve the tower?
Get moving, keep firing. Prioritize this damage the best we can. And I also got wave projectors to kind of force them back some. Did that mess up any of his torpedoes? Is the real question. I heard torpedoes fire, yeah, it did mess them up. So there is always that. Now, I gotta be careful of the Warsphere again. Like I said, this thing is in a bit of an awkward spot, so I don't like its positioning very well. This is part of the reason why I don't want it to be in the middle of everything, but now he's playing a serious match, I guess, so. And the Castellan went the wrong way. Sauce, get firing. Nope, that's a ram. That's a ram I did not want. But get to repairing, lots of fire assaults. Remember what I showed earlier, it's only supposed to take hull breaches. Well, does that look like a hull breach? That's technically more damage than what the hull breach could do, so... Hell, it seems like it's only taking fire assaults, which is a bit weird at the same time. So, let's try and finish off this frigates here. Start dealing with his cruisers to some vague extent. Yeah, he's focusing entirely on the Warsphere too. So, this is not going to work very well, because that thing's going to die horribly to the boring torpedoes as a result. So, keep on firing, keep trying to kill these things, although his brace for impact's going to be a bit of a pain with that said. Because I haven't really done much damage at all to his ships just yet. So, my Sauce did very little to deal with the Thunderhawks very well, so this thing's probably going to die this time around, alas. So, the one time I really wish I had bombers. Just a little bit, because reload's not going to help me very much in this regard. But I can disengage some. Again, it's really quite a bit of stagger fire, some. But I am getting critical hits on his components, his weaponry still. Now, the Warsphere is going to die in a moment, I think. Not much I can do about that. And I have 75 armor versus his 75, so... I should in theory be okay here, as far as the ram. Now I gotta kill something for this to be worth it, though. Again, stagger fire is gonna be a bit of a pain. A lot of his ships are low health and he doesn't have access to the brace for impact just yet. So can this Warsphere survive at least another 70 seconds and maybe warp out? And I'm burning all my cogitators, I'm realizing too, so that's a bit of a mistake. So generators gone there. Yep, board me best you can. I'll let that go. I'll let him have it. I want to board your ship ideally, but you're not letting me, so. And his boring torpedoes are not doing anything in the regard either. And I still have 75 armor, so hopefully that was pretty decent, although the ram on my Warsphere is going to hurt still. So, it has 150 speed right now, so, and he's getting critical hits on his weaponry, so this thing is sadly is gonna die. The Warsphere is dead. Now we just gotta finish off this target here, and ideally kill the bombardment cannon. The crew Warsphere did its thing, but dang, those fire assaults. If those were hull breaches, the Warsphere probably would have still been alive by now, to be honest. And I hope those are my own secret missiles. No, they're secret missiles from another Sauce, so I gotta turn off this autocast before they kill me. So, this is possibly a victory, especially once the brace for impact order is gone. So get this out of the way, because he's going to be tempted to kill that. It's still a potential victory, mind you. I still would have loved this thing to live. Alright. He killed my one Sauce. I should kill your strike cruiser for that alone. I should, but I won't. Although the autocast needs to come off if I'm going to do that. Oh well, still a fun match. A little bit awkward, a little bit tense, I'm not going to lie still. My overconfidence may be getting the best of me there, almost. Because that one especially was tense, but hell, the last one is equally as tense, and I lost all 3 of my sauces as a result. So, I have to ask though, was this actually an improvement? Is losing 1 capital ship over my 3 sauces actually an improvement in comparison to the last battle? I could not tell you. Oh well. Maybe the micro warp jump was a bit of a mistake. I could have warped it out. Which does seriously make me question why I have the micro warp jump on here. Maybe I should swap it out? I'm not really certain, if I were to be honest. If I had extended sensors on this thing, maybe then I'll see some real value for the micro warp jump. So I might make a few tweaks here or there. Maybe I'll put the repair drones back on, because I did swap out the projector for the repair drones for the projector there, and it seems like there's value in the projector when they try and ram me, so long as I don't get too ridiculous at using this thing at every opportunity, mind you. But yeah, technically, this is more costly a victory because the Warspeeder costs as much as a battleship for repairs, so technically, I'd rather repair 3 sauces than a single crew Warspeeder with that all said and done. But still, fun matches nonetheless. Oh, and I did lose a sauce, so never mind, it wasn't really an improvement, was it?